associated with Ben.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie, and the show starts right now.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie. I spent over an hour earlier today on here talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Ronnie was on with a couple of guests for over an hour later this evening, and we thought we would come back together at this point and try to recap what has gone on, spend some time in prayer, maybe bring in another guest or one of the guests at least back from earlier. And what's up, Ronnie?
Still trying to get a handle on everything.
Been an emotional day.
Yes, it has.
I don't cry in public too much, but when the announcement came that Charlie was dead, I don't know how you could keep your eyes dry at that point, and been hard to grasp that things like this are at the level that we are here in our country. It's hard to grasp that all of the people that were there live watched it, all of us who have seen video replays. This is 2 nights in a row, Ronnie, where we have actually watched a human being take the life of another human being. Yesterday, we saw the stabbing that took place in Charlotte, and then today, it's I don't know what to say. And then when you factor in that so many people are rejoicing while so many people are mourning, that I can't comprehend just what's going on. It defies my simple brain. What do you think?
It's absolutely disgusting. Whether you liked him or not, whether you followed him or not, whether you appreciated his message or not, a man has died today. A man who committed no crime, a man who just did what every American should do, and that's follow the First Amendment to free speech. There's been several instances online where I caught myself before I said something, and there was one instance where I absolutely unleashed. My apologies for not being the leader I should be and for keeping my mouth shut, but sometimes you just have to tell a person that they're disgusting. It is what it is. Whether you liked him or not, a husband, a father, a man who committed no crime, his life was ended today. And the rejoicing and the praising and the left, who is supposed to be liberal and tolerant and understanding, is absolutely disgusting. And on top of that, there are other news stories. There's a shooting at a high school in Colorado. I believe there may be some dead there. There was a shooting in Manhattan in an office building. There was a shooting at Fort Stewart. There's also tensions between Poland and Russia going on, and a tsunami hitting California and a hurricane hitting Hawaii, all at the exact same moment. And then, of course, tomorrow's 9/11, the 24 years of remembrance of 9/11. So not a time to be ripping ourselves apart. Now is the time to be coming together. And it's absolutely disgusting to me that anyone would rejoice in the death of anyone. So
let let me read something I just found here. Apparently, it doesn't have a date with it, so I'm not sure when he said this, but this is a post from Charlie Kirk, actually. Assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 45% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is the natural outgrowth of the left-wing protest culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. Wow. The person that I seen that posted that headed it with the word foreshadowing ? And
I just want people to go back and think if this is political, did anyone from the right shoot up any liberal speakers when Joe Biden won the presidency? Did anyone from the right try and assassinate him? It seems a growing trend. You know, we discussed last night the transgender issue, and how it was actually been talked about. I had a Wish TV report that they're talking about taking away firearms rights from transgender individuals. It's just it's what happened to being tolerant and understanding? What happened to getting along? What happened to, all of this? Just because we don't believe the way you do doesn't mean innocent people need to die.
Well, I want to read you a post that I almost am certainly positive that this was about Charlie Kirk. OMG, my mom is the best. She just called me with some really exciting news. I would bet my entire house that is talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I'm ashamed to say that not close, but I share blood with that person and his mother. Not immediate family by any stretch of the imagination, but I would bet anything that I have that was the reference to Charlie Kirk, and how despicable, how pathetic. How many times have I said that my dad taught me that if I didn't have anything good to say, then just to keep my mouth shut? Yeah. And boy, that's what I would encourage the people that don't have anything good to say to do. It's just not the right time for that kind of talk.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because like I said earlier, whether you believed what he said, whether you appreciated what he said, whether you even tolerated what he said or not, a man died. And now is not the time to rejoice. That's absolutely ridiculous. And what a disgusting human being to do some of the things that we've seen on TikTok and Facebook and everything.
The man was 31 years old, had a wife, a little boy, and a little girl. Those kids will never grow up with their daddy. The wife has to go through the next portion of her life without her husband. And quite frankly, you and I and everyone that is similar to us, has the same similar beliefs that we do, has lost a person that we considered a very respectable. First of all, he was an amazing Christian man that knew his Bible. People would ask him questions at those events like he was killed at today. And man, he would pop Bible scripture off. I mean, just,
Top of his head,
snapping his fingers. And I've been a Christian in the Bible almost my entire life. And I can't do that any way close to the way he did. So first of all, he was a wonderful Christian man. Second of all, he loved America. He was very opinionated, but that's what the First Amendment allows us to be. The First Amendment doesn't say I have to say things that won't offend people. It says I have the right to say things. I have the right to believe what I believe. And you made the point, and so very, very important. I can never in my life think of a time where our side of the aisle went to the assassination, murder, that type of violence for any reason, period. And now it's becoming commonplace from the left to the right. And so I mentioned when I was on earlier today probably is not the day to say some of the things that we're thinking. I mean, it would be really easy to go old school off on this topic today.
Absolutely. I've caught myself several times.
I mean, right now, I'm talking this very second, our country is a powder keg. And there is the potential. What's up?
Breitbart just reported RFK Jr. on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Once again, a bullet has silenced the most eloquent truth teller of an era, coming from Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Wow. When you think about that, both his uncle and his daddy.
Yep.
That is amazing. That is amazing. But now is not the time to have that little flicker of spark when a powder keg is ready to explode. I mean, it's just not the time.
MSNBC contributor Matthew Dowd says Charlie Kirk deserved to be shot. That's from the Tolerant Left.
Let's see what I have here. I've gotten things from so many different places. It's hard to remember where I have them. And again, like it was for both of our times when we were on alone earlier today, it's hard to juggle everything.
Yes.
At least when there's both of us on here, I can say, hey, you talk for a second, or vice versa. You're looking things up right now.
Yeah.
But even with that, we still have a hard time with everything that's being said.
Speaking of that, I'm actually going to stand up for a minute and go close this door so the big evil dog don't come in. So I'll be right back.
All right. Here is what I was looking for. The president of MSNBC apologized for remarks made by political analyst Matthew Dowd during the network's coverage of the shooting. The president of MSNBC said, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. Um, let's see if it go. To kind of give that some backdrop, at 3 p.m. as networks were scrambling for more details of what happened, MSNBC's Katie Tur spoke about Utah's gun laws. She turned to Dowd, asking him about the environment in which a shooting like this happens. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, so we have no idea about this. He added about Kirk. He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that is the environment we are in. You can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place. And that's the unfortunate environment we are in. So let me ask you this, Ronnie. During many of the protests, even the more recent ones, where protesters go out and well, we got several comments going on in here. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
When you look at protests that happened where people were going into the streets, shutting streets down, if you used the logic that man just used, you would think that he was saying it was okay to run people down with cars or to shoot indiscriminately into a group of protesters.
Yeah.
Now, that's just not the way things are done. Let's see. Jesse Tompkins said, belief in something doesn't give you the right to take the life of another because their beliefs don't match yours. He gave you the right to sit in front of someone and speak your differences, but his life ended because of it. And that is very, very true. Also, good gentleman that I know from his independent country music career, Too Sad, No Matter Your View, Murder is Senseless. And there, that's just totally true. There is no excuse. Nobody can make the excuse that he deserved what he got. And you have the right to say that. The First Amendment gives you that right. Mm-hmm. But how dare you? How dare you?
That's saying, so like you were talking about the car, I remember a few years back, I don't recall where, but there was a Christmas parade or something, and a guy drove his car into it and injured and killed people. I don't remember. So don't quote me on all the facts. There were people injured and killed. Giving the shooter the right to assassinate Charlie Kirk is basically giving that driver the right to kill innocent children. And instead of standing back and going, murder's wrong, whether I believed him or not, that's standing back and going, well, kids deserved it. And that is just cold and disgusting at all. It's ridiculous. That's not what I said.
I want to read something from a admitted, and you'll hear in this post, an admitted liberal who has said some of the things that you and I have said today, but from the left, this is probably the best thing that I have read today. I know this guy from the wrestling business. He is a very, very good, he's an outstanding independent wrestler. And this is what he had to say about this 3 hours ago. Democrat, Republican, man, woman, non-binary, straight, queer, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, young, old, black, white, Hispanic. Everyone, please stop, think. Armed National Guard troops being mobilized across the country, political, racial, and religious tensions mounting, a man highly recognized for his political and sociological views had his life taken today. If you can't see the writing on the wall, if you can't see the potential fallout from this, if you can't see how badly this can go and just how ugly this will get, to the left, which he is on, we will not glorify this act. That's him encouraging the left not to glorify this act. No. Do I mourn? No. But will I celebrate? Absolutely not. I listened to so much of what he had to say and disagreed with all of it. Does not mean that I wish this on him or his children, nor would I anyone who speaks against me. Your humanity has to be better than that. To the right, do not let this be the bait. Do not let this be a rally cry. Do not let this be a martyr. What happened today was senseless, evil. Be better than evil, than the evil. Your humanity has to be better than that. To the entire nation, we are at an absolutely crucial moment in American history. Please, please think before you speak. Think before you act. Just think. Tensions are high, nerves are high, and patience, empathy, and understanding are almost non-existent. Do not let this devolve into chaos. Do not let this be the tipping point that pushes us to the final brink. Do not let this be the final divide. Do not let this be the end. Do better. Be better, all of you. And, you know, he said some things in there that would go against the way we believe. And that's what we talk about on a regular basis. That's part of being an American. We have different belief systems, but he is spot on with that. We're on the brink right now.
Oh, and,
yeah. You know, he is wise enough to know that this isn't about religion. It's not about politics. It's about good and evil. And I
actually have something that Bill and Tanya just posted a couple of minutes ago. I haven't seen it yet, and it blew my mind. To Charlie Kirk's shooter, you are a coward who failed a mission. You hid in the shadows, pulled the trigger, and ran. That's not justice. It's cowardice. You feared his words because they were stronger than your bullets. You didn't silence him. You proved his words had power. You didn't kill his voice. You amplified it. You didn't end the movement. You grew it. Charlie's fight is our fight, and we will never back down. And that blew my mind because I was talking with the other guy that I work with today, and I said, you know, when these kind of things happen, the left doesn't quite, or whoever is trying to do it, I'm not just going to say the left, whoever's doing it, thinking things through. The assassination attempt on President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, people saw him be shot. People saw him stand up and say, fight, fight, fight. And that was a rally cry. It still is. So to me, not amplified his message, but I'm sure it helped. I'm sure it pushed people away from the left because look at what they were willing to do. Same thing with Charlie Kirk. Did he need to be assassinated? Did he need to be murdered in cold blood? Absolutely not. So Charlie's fight's going to be our fight. You know, he was a master at his craft. Like you were saying, he knew Bible verses off the top of his head. I always admired that about him. He had knowledge of events, and if somebody were to bring it up, he immediately began talking on it. And he was so cool and level-headed. Like, some people were getting up there and cussing him to filth and calling him all kinds of disgusting names. And he just rolled with the punches. So, man, I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him.
I think if I was to look back right now, that your mom, I think it was yesterday, sent me a Charlie Kirk video. And I think my response was, I love Charlie Kirk.
I was saying earlier, we at least have one video a week almost, it seems.
Yeah. And let me look and see if there is this one in particular. There is one video, and it's one of these, I think, but I'm just not sure which one, where he's talking about transgender, and he's really putting the guy in his place. But at one point he says that people say that I say what I do out of hate, and it's not out of hate. It's actually out of love. When you tell somebody that they're doing something that will cause them to go to hell, you know, I know people don't want to hear that, but that's out of love. You know, you or I are not affected one way or the other in our salvation, whether a transgender, how their salvation goes. We want that to be, we want everybody to go to heaven, but we don't benefit from it. We don't get brownie points or anything like that. And so he was spot on when he said what he did about it's out of love. And I think this is the video. If it's not, I'll stop it real quick and try the other.
Can you please explain to everyone out here what Jesus stood for, and especially the quality?
Charlie Kirk has had enough of the left's delusion. When this college student tried to push his agenda, Kirk's brutal response snapped him back to reality.
I have a brother who's been transgender for 10 years. He has never once taken advantage of anybody. He has never once pushed that on anybody else other than asking us to just respect his expression.
So it's a sister that became a brother, is that fair?
My brother, yes.
Yes, your sister, so yeah.
So
I refuse to lie. No, again,
Okay.
I refuse to lie. You have a sister that is masquerading as a man. What makes your sister a man?
I'm talking social here. We're talking merely social construct because yes, he has a vagina and he knows he has a vagina.
Did you just say he has a vagina? It's a self-contradictory phase. Can't exist. Can't happen.
Why can't somebody just be happy?
Okay, that's fine. She is allowed to do whatever she wants.
Okay, no, let's talk about
the problem is all of a sudden I have to use different pronouns that are not rooted in reality. Number two, we teach it to our kids, which is insane. It's all throughout our curriculum. And then most importantly, though, is that we have to act as if we are living in a dimension where you can transition to be another sex when you obviously cannot. Where if you take enough hormones or if you put enough makeup or you wear the right costume, you can appropriate the other sex, which is insulting to men and it's insulting to women. And it is the most non-stop naked war on nature that the humanity has ever embarked upon. I could tell that you love your sibling. Let's just agree it's your sibling, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I might come across as harsh and cruel and unreasonable. The reason I come across as blunt as I do is that I actually, believe it or not, have a heart for people that are suffering. I don't think you suffer by accommodating what they think that they have. Instead, you challenge them to be a better version of themselves. If someone's identity is in their sin, you end up suffering long term. We don't say, hey, I committed adultery, I'm an adulterer. You don't identify with your sin. The promise of Christianity is that we all fall short of the glory of God, and Jesus went on a rescue mission to save us from our sins so that we can live forever with him.
Okay.
Wow.
And that's the man that was murdered today.
Wow.
Murdered today. I'll let you go ahead and introduce the guest and the topic. And
all right. So if you watched earlier, about 7 or so, I had on a couple of guests. This is my best friend. This man he's a good dude, and he had some thoughts and feelings, and I figured we'd bring him back so he could share thoughts and feelings here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Ben Rust.
How y'all doing? Good to be back.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, brother.
How you doing, Ed? Nice to see you again.
Hey, good to see you.
So we were talking earlier about what you saw and what you thought and what you felt. Now you and I talked earlier on the phone about how the shot where you thought was immediately a kill shot. How when you were hunting stuff before that you've seen something similar. Or...
Yeah. Let me recap that again.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So, I'm not for sure, everybody that's viewing this saw online with the videos and everything else that came up. I apologize. I've been trying to, on my computer here, find some things while we're talking. But if you watch the video, initially, turn it down a little bit. Initially, there was speculation that may have come from the crowd. And the man that I don't know, Ed, how much you saw, I'm assuming quite a bit of it, but the elderly fella with the gray hair and a blue shirt, they said he initially was the assailant, but he ended up not being far enough away. That shot came from theoretically 200-ish yards out. Like I said earlier, when Charlie got hit, he took a direct hit in the jugular from a high velocity round. He did, when I hunt, I call it the statue. When you hit an animal, vital shot, they'll lock up and then they just kind of turn into stone. When you say you stoned them, there was no coming back from that. And I was talking, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I was talking to her just this evening on the drive to get some dinner. And even at 13 years old, she had the cognitive ability to see the heinousness in this action. And she had a statement that kind of struck me to the core. It said that this group of people, the extremists, because there's extremists in every group. There's extremists to people on the right, and Christians. There's extremists on the left. That's everywhere.
Absolutely.
But they're willing, not only with their abortion agenda to kill infants and babies, they have no regard on the extremist side, no regard for life. I don't want to classify anybody who is not a psychopath into that category. And I have friends that are on the left side of the fence. As I was talking to Lauren,
we discussed before, you need the left side. The right needs the left, and the left needs the right, and that's part of a democracy.
It is, and you have differing ideas, and hopefully both sides can meet somewhere in the middle and come up with a compromise, and it's better for the public of this country as a whole. But I made a comment to Lauren, and I've said it many, many times over the years, and today it strikes me differently than it always has. My personal belief on this, whether you want that or not, I think that there was some underhanded stuff involved with this situation. I don't want to dive too deep into that because that's kind of going down a rabbit hole. But in my opinion, you have left wing and you have right wing, but it's still the same bird. We're all one people here. So just because we think differently doesn't mean that we have to go killing each other just because we think differently.
Well, you were in high school with me back 24 years ago when 9/11 happened. And
don't say that ever again, man. 24 years ago.
24 years, right? Yeah, I was a senior in high school. I remember what class I was in. So you saw how the globe essentially came together. It wasn't just Americans, and everybody came together over support of a righteous cause, and I miss that. I miss that. I haven't seen it again in 24 years, and I really wish it would come back.
Unfortunately, there's a comedian I used to watch, but he's quite vulgar. I don't watch him anymore. I've kind of grown beyond his comedy, his humor. Carlos Mencia, at one point in time, made a joke that Americans, but he was talking about post 9/11, but he was saying that Americans are just a bunch of bored people who love drama, and so we just bicker. And we needed, as a people, a bad situation to bring us together, right? So he made some, he's a very vulgar comedian. He made some jokes to that effect, but he's not wrong. Americans get bored, even though 99 out of 100 people get their nose in their phone and they The day goes by in a flash because they can't stop scrolling. But they're looking for drama. We have it too good where we're looking for drama. The biggest, like if we had another 9/11 event, COVID kind of did it as well, brought people together to reunite us. And it just shows that it's possible. It's there.
Yeah.
We can all put our differences aside and attack a common evil. But whenever their common evil and our common evil are fighting each other, then that's where we're at.
And we were just talking earlier about how close we are on the edge, on the brink of completely falling off and separating. And it would be nice to go back to where we were on, post 9/11.
Ronnie,
I don't think we'll ever see it again.
What's that, Ed?
Let me play a video real quick.
Yeah, I saw that pop up.
It's the president.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Well,
Wow.
That was needed. That was
yes, very, very
That
much
was
so.
perfect.
And you know, the left is going to just hear that he blamed the left.
mhm.
They're going to say
Unfortunately.
that was divisive instead of trying to reconcile things. And that's not what it was. He was trying to reconcile things. He encouraged Americans to basically to do the right thing.
Kind of what we do every Tuesday night, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that speech was needed. I remember speeches similar to that after 9/11. I can see how the left is going to say that everything's being blamed on them. It's not.
No, it's blamed on good and evil.
Yeah,
That's where
absolutely.
I said multiple times earlier today, man is not the problem. Evil is the problem. Now, Satan uses men and women to do his dirty work. So that's where men come into play. But the bottom line, the bottom of what is going on is evil. I beg anybody on the planet to debate that with me. That what happened to Charlie Kirk today wasn't rooted 100% in evil, not that he deserved what he got. How dare anybody say that?
Right. What do you think, Ben?
I agree 100%. Trump touched on something there that I thought it, but never really put it to a full-fledged thought was, yeah, 100% this act has made his voice heard by millions more than it was before. You know how many people I've talked to today already alone that didn't know his name but knew his face, and they were just as taken aback as I was by it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
unfortunately,
the thing,
not everybody.
What's that? Unfortunately, not everybody.
Not
Yeah.
everybody. I
And-
just got this sent to me in private. A person posted, just an FYI for all my friends and family, don't ever go to the Starbucks in Greensburg, Indiana. I went through their drive-through like 20 minutes ago, and the employees were screaming and jumping for joy because Charlie Kirk lost his life today. When I asked for the manager, he slammed the door in my face and said he didn't have time for me. I asked them if someone dying was something to celebrate, and they wouldn't respond.
Wow. I'm not shocked, though. Unfortunately, I'm not.
Well, no, I mean, Starbucks has quite the reputation in that way. And, let me just take a minute here and say a prayer and pray for my attitude too, because, when I read things like that and I hear stories about that, it just makes me want to say and stoop to their level. And that's not what we need to be doing. Father in heaven, I come to you just now, and stories like this get me worked up, Father, and you know that. But Satan wants me to be worked up, and I need to rise above and be better. Father, I pray that those that were doing that will come to seek forgiveness. And that's going to take a miracle from you, because people are rejoicing today at the loss of one of your servants, Father. So be with Charlie's family, be with his friends and loved ones and co-workers. He was such a huge part of so many people's lives. Be with those that witnessed that today in person, and those of us who's witnessed it on video. Father, it was something that none of us will ever forget. Thank you for my friends on here with me and family. And Father, I just pray that we will always, always, always say and do the right thing. In Jesus' name, amen.
And I don't know
and I
what's
was
wrong with
thinking,
this dog, but that's the second time we prayed, and that's the second time she's gone nuts. So
I have a hypothesis for that.
come on, she's named after the FLOTUS here. This is Ivanka Wolf.
Oh gosh.
All right, so Ben, you and I and JT talked earlier about some safety ideas, and we brought up situational awareness and staying out of your phone and stuff. Did you come up with anything else?
I kind of thought about it, and I mentioned it earlier. My signal was kind of crap, so I'll say it again. I got my headset on for my computer, and I got this on for my phone. That right there gets more people abducted and hurt every single day. It's like earbuds. Exactly. People going for a jog or for a walk, got both earbuds in, music blaring. Somebody comes up behind them. Something happens. They don't hear it. Yeah. Keep your head on swivel, folks. I mean, this is a crazy world we're living in. I know, given the platform, I can't talk too much about what I got behind me. But you need to figure out some way to defend yourself, whether it's martial arts, whether it's a piece of equipment of some sort or another. And just be aware and surround yourself with people that you know and trust. And especially if you're going into a big city during one of these events, you got to be careful.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for joining us this evening, and we appreciate everything you brought to the table, brother.
All right, you guys take care of yourselves.
Thanks, man.
Oh, ow. All right. Well, let's see.
Well, and Ben brings up such a good point. Not everybody's going to carry a weapon with them everywhere they go, but everybody can pay attention.
Yes, and, absolutely.
When we look at the videos from last night and the people that were on that train, and nobody did anything. Now, some of them probably had zero clue what happened, basically because of what Ben just said. Others choose not to do things. But situational awareness, and that your mom taught you that your entire life. She still lives it. Even when we're out together and I'm carrying, she's going to be the one that has her back to the wall. That's just who she is and how she's lived her life. Yes, I know you are. I know you are.
It's really difficult when I go out to eat with mom, because which one of us sit with our back to the door?
Really. And there are some places with multiple entrances that, we both are facing a door, which is helpful. There's more than one person there. But, it almost sounds like fear mongering. But, and again, I haven't gotten details, but your mom told me about an armed robbery that happened here locally this week. And I've not seen or read anything about it other than what she told me. But, it's within 2 to 3 miles of where we live. And we've got to take care of each other and take care of ourselves. You come
Absolutely.
up with anything new going on?
Well, I still have a few videos. So Charlie Kirk is not the only story going on in the world. There was a school shooter in Colorado. I don't have details on that right hand. Obviously, people were injured. There's a shooter in Manhattan. The only person I remember hearing about dying from that was the shooter. There was a shooter at Fort Stewart in Georgia. I've got a video on that. Russia and Poland have some really strong tensions going on right now. And I do have this really cool video I want to share. So we discussed last night how Donald Trump is going to go into Chicago and do what he did in Washington, D.C. And the Marines showed up this morning for a fun little display. I thought that was pretty cool. But
that's a real
obviously
video.
The big story. What's that?
That was a real video.
That was a real video. Yeah, they downtown Chicago.
That is too
sure
cool.
That was a display of what's to come. But obviously the big story is Charlie Kirk and all that. Not saying that he is more important or anything other than other than like deaths that have been happening elsewhere. Hawaii is about to be hit by a hurricane right now, and there was a tsunami going on in California right now. So I've seen videos of the first wave of that. Let's see here. I do have this happened on the Senate floor today, or House floor. Sorry, I've got dogs biting the hoo-haws out of my hand right now. I want to smack these dogs. Let's see. I'll go ahead and play this.
To all members present in the chamber and those in the gallery, please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family. What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise? Shh. Let's.
No, I'm going to pause this right here. We'll go back to it. But what she said was she requested an out loud prayer because silent prayer produces silent results. And as soon as she mentioned an out loud prayer, you can start hearing from the left side of the aisle complaining.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. We will join prayer right after this, okay? The chair lays before the House a communication. The House will be in order. Thank you all. The House will be in order. The chair lays before the House a communication.
So the sad part about that is the U.S. House of Representatives. A man was murdered, and they refused to pray for him, or even allow people to pray for him that wanted to. Don't have to force religion, but that's the U.S. House of Representatives.
I'm going to go back to what my dad said. If you don't have anything good to say about something, just keep your mouth shut.
Absolutely.
Because you see, you took the perfect approach. A man was murdered today. And if you don't believe in prayer, just stand there and ignore what's going on. Instead, you have to make yourself seen and heard for all the wrong reasons. the type of behavior. Okay, Dad, I'm sorry, I'm not following what you told me. That type of behavior right there is why Charlie Kirk got murdered today. The left has been for years now, and the president made mention of it. The left for years now have been encouraging conflict, violence, getting in people's faces, going lower. When people go low, we go lower. And at some point in time, people became emboldened. Now, you and I have talked many times. It's our side of the aisle that probably, and I'm going to say this with fairly good confidence, that control the biggest part of the guns. And why that they would be provoking us, it boggles my mind. But the thing is, it's the same that we would say if there was a mass shooting at a school, that there's always going to be guns. There's always going to be the opportunity for people to come in and do bad things. But why is it different if a liberal does it? It becomes something you celebrate. And that's as ungodly as you can get. And,
I have to say thank you, Beth, for your comments. Don't you just wish you would say sit down and shut up?
Yes. Actually, what I was hoping was that he would call the sergeant at arms and have him escorted out. Is what I wish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the guy did at the joint session speech that Trump was at.
Yeah. Al Green, Representative Al Green, when he wouldn't shut up.
It cracked me up. Johnson was shushing him.
Yeah.
That really ticks a lot of people. If you tell somebody, that really gets them under their skin. But I would have preferred the sergeant at arms take charge. Man. So what a day, Ronnie. What a day.
I know. I don't even know where to go. I mean, I've got videos kind of talking about what happens and everything, but I don't even know if I want to watch them right now, in all honesty. I've seen them all. I've seen them all multiple times. I've seen the infamous video from multiple directions. I've seen it up close and far away, and done watching it. It's obviously not something we could show here.
I think we're on the same page. I think we've said about all that we can say. We will continue to monitor the situation, and if need be, we'll be back either together or separately. And I'm going to just look at everybody right now and say, pray for our country. Pray for our country. I've prayed numerous times today, and I know many of you have as well. And I'm not going to close in prayer tonight, because I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to pray. I don't want you to depend on me to do the praying for you. I want you to pray when we get off the air here, before you go to bed tonight, whenever it is that you decide to pray, and pray for our country. There will be people that are scared to death to go out in public tomorrow. And then there will be people that will be emboldened by what happened today. So, Ronnie, I'm going to let you finish this off. And good night, everybody. Thank you for spending some time with us.
I I couldn't have said it better than Ed just did. I completely wholeheartedly agree with everything. Yeah, right here, Beth. Please pray for his wife. Her world changed drastically. Absolutely. The world changed drastically now. His wife and children, I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, right or left. Left-wing extremists, right-wing extremists, gay, transgendered, whatever it may be. I don't wish that on anyone. That's absolutely terrible. And I can promise you right here and right now that if something were like that to happen to somebody on the left, we would not be sitting here praising him. We would not be sitting here shouting shouts for joy that something like that happened, because whether we believe in what they say, their rhetoric or not, no person, individual, man, woman, he, she, they, it, whatever, deserves to die. Because it's not just one person that feels that. We all feel that, and we all should feel that. Like we discussed last night with the Ukrainian refugee that was senselessly murdered. We all should feel that. Every one of us. Ukrainian refugee, American, right-wing, left-wing, it doesn't matter. We're all part of the human race, and we all should feel that. So like Ed said, please spend some time in prayer tonight. God knows what you want to say. God knows what's in your heart, but that doesn't mean just go, oh, he knows. Go to God in prayer.
Amen.
And I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate everybody being here with getting on and getting off and getting on and getting off, and the little breaks and stuff we've had. But, we're not professionals here. We have full-time jobs, and we do this for fun because we love it, and because it gives us a platform to speak our mind, kind of like how Charlie Kirk had. So thank you all for being here. Join us Tuesdays regularly for Red, White, and True, right here at 7 p.m. So 1900, if for you military people. So are we going to go out and do the right thing?
Well, we'll leave the hand motions alone, and we will go out and do the right thing.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.